alike, and his devotion to his family and love for the game inspired generations of footballers to come. John Charles was born on December 27, 1931, in the small Welsh town of Cwmdu. He was the youngest of 7 children born to his parents, William and Hannah Charles. His father worked as a miner in a local coal mine, while his mother was a housewife who took care of their large family. Growing up, John Charles was raised in a tight-knit and hard-working family. His father's job as a coal miner meant that the family had to be frugal, and they often had to make do with what they had. Despite this, John Charles remembered his childhood as a happy one, spent playing football in the streets with his siblings and friends. John Charles' family was also very supportive of his football ambitions. His older brother, Mel, was a professional footballer who played for Leeds United, and he was a huge influence on John's early career. Mel often took John to watch matches and would practice with him, helping him develop his skills and technique. As John Charles' footballing talent grew, his family's support became even more important. They would attend his matches whenever they could, cheering him on from the sidelines and offering encouragement and advice. Despite his success on the football pitch, John Charles never forgot his humble roots and the importance of his family. He remained close to his parents and siblings throughout his life, and would often return home to visit them and catch up on old times. In 1953, John Charles married his childhood sweetheart, Glenda. The couple had 2 children together, a son named Mel and a daughter named Beverly. Glenda was a constant source of support and encouragement for John throughout his career, and their marriage lasted until John's death in 2004. John Charles also had a close relationship with his extended family. He remained in touch with his siblings and their families, often hosting them at his home or visiting them in Wales. His family was an important part of his life, and he always made time for them despite his busy schedule as a professional footballer. Overall, John Charles' family played an important role in his life and career. Their love and support helped him overcome the challenges he faced as a young footballer, and allowed him to become one of the greatest players of his generation. John Charles' revenue was relatively modest compared to today's footballers. During his time, footballers were not paid the exorbitant salaries that they receive today. John Charles played in the 1950s and 60s, when footballers did not make nearly as much money as they do today. In fact, during his time, football was not considered a career. John Charles' earnings came from his footballing career and his brief stint as a manager after retirement. John Charles' first professional contract was with Leeds United in 1949. He played for Leeds United for 9 years before moving to Juventus in Italy in 1957 for a record transfer fee of £65,000. This was a substantial sum of money at the time, but still not enough to make him one of the highest-paid footballers of his generation. During his time in Italy, John Charles became a popular and successful player for Juventus. He helped the club win 3 Serie A titles and 2 Italian Cups. He also finished as the league's top scorer in the 1958-59 season, scoring 28 goals in 33 appearances.